Yay! Hello,
Emily,
everybody! I'm so excited.
how you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Yeah, just blessed.
Yeah. So today I have Shan. Did I say that right?
Yeah, good
Yes.
job.
Uh, Phillips on, who is really awesome and also is normally the interviewer. So I'll have to get tips from you as we go along because I feel like after I see your interviews, I'm like, oh, he's a real interviewer. Uh,
Thank you very much. No, you're good. I've seen your stuff too.
Cool. Okay, so you are from Michigan originally, engineering by training at U of M, and then you moved to Chicago, but have worked then we're back in Michigan and have worked in like STEM and all of this. Like I was looking at your LinkedIn and I was like, oh, the Michigan Science Center, that's so awesome. Like so like such cool different positions. And then I met you when we did that panel that you were hosting, but on at South by Southwest with Inc. Magazine. So that was really
Right.
good. I was like,
Yeah.
that was like a soft flex right there. I was like,
No,
remember when we were on that panel with Inc. Magazine? Like we're famous. Um,
no, I was glad I was able to meet you. Right, and we've been able to stay in contact. So that's been, I mean, when you do things like that, right, you never know who you're going to meet, right? So I think that those type of relationships are what you cherish. So I grew up in the Chicago area, went to school in Michigan, went
okay,
back to Chicago, came back to Michigan, and then now I'm in California.
cool. Yeah. How is it in California?
It's good. It's good. I mean, obviously, right, we're during this pandemic, you're not able to explore as much as you want to, especially being in a new area. But I think that just being optimistic, and I really like the vibe that's here,
Yeah.
and still being able to connect with a lot of the Michigan people is what when I left, that's exactly what I wanted to do. So, staying connected with you being one type of connection is things that I continuously look to do.
Cool. Yay. And you're in LA?
We're in LA, Los
Yeah.
Angeles.
Very cool. Okay, so I guess just going off of that, so talk a little bit about your background and then how you started getting more into supporting STEM, why you, and for people who aren't totally realizing
Yeah.
about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Um, and why you feel like it's so important to support STEM education in companies.
Yeah, so background wise, I went to school for electrical engineering and I minored in mathematics. And one of the reasons why I did that is because I had a strong math and science background. And so I just kind of, fell into it. And then after that, I worked at Motorola designing cell phones. So this is like the Razor days before we could actually touch the screens,
I
right?
had one of those, yeah.
Right. So, that was like the iconic phone. And then I just remember when the iPhone was first coming out and just like what Motorola was doing and how we were trying to combat that. But working at Motorola really gave me the idea and the training on what like big corporate, Fortune, 100 companies can operate like. So I love that experience. So a buddy of mine that worked at Motorola and another colleague, we co-founded Project Sincere, which was really focused around providing underserved students, underrepresented students within the field of engineering and the sciences, the type of coursework that they can do. One, that it was very fun, and then two, it was really something that you focused on STEM. And this is before STEM was a very, sexy, interesting topic that everyone was buzzing around with, because we felt that if we could provide them with real world application, that one, they'll have a greater interest in education just in general. And then also we would start to feed the pipeline early on with these students that were truly, truly creative and remarkable in their own way. And that experience really opened my eyes on doing things that are very gratifying, right? So working at Motorola was great experience. Got to travel the world, but doing projects in SARE, had the experience of being an entrepreneur, but then also seeing how gratifying it was for students to have that aha moment and for them to believe in themselves. So then now that, it leads me into, being able to do, as you mentioned, at the Science Center I worked, and then I worked with economic development in Michigan. And then now we're doing my Dreambug Club, which is kind of in line with really inspiring people to dream big.
Yeah, that is really cool. Talk a little bit more just about like why you guys started My Dream Big Club and what it does. And
Yeah. So when we started, it was really a way of just building community, right? A lot of things that we're hearing from people that we would come in contact with was the fact that like, where do I go or where do I find support? Or we had people within our network that were interested in starting businesses and they didn't know the direction to take it. So we figured, kind of like a mastermind group, just let's bring people together and talk about some of these transformative topics, right? And we just, we started out in the house and then we grew it to, go into libraries and public spaces. And then we were able to launch a conference in Detroit, Michigan last year with over 160 people. And, in line with that, we were able to now we're also, we have a podcast, right, that we really push out to really inspire and motivate people. So when you're listening to it, similar to your show, you should be getting one or two nice nuggets that you can really apply in your lives tomorrow or today or whatever it may be, because it's all about that personal and the continuous development, right? We're all life learners. And what we really strive to do is you hear these people with these great stories, right? I think personally, we all have a story if we really think back about our past. And then from our stories, you should learn from it. And then other people are able to learn from it as well. So that's what we're really pushing to inspire these entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I was thinking this morning, I was kind of like, prepping in my mind for our conversation, as I do. And I was thinking, I was like, man, I feel like you are like one of the most disciplined people, like in a lot of respects. Like, I mean, I see you on Facebook, I see you out there on
Thank you.
Different social media platforms and things. And I think like a lot of the way you live your life and run your business and interact with the communities like in a very like disciplined approach. And so then I thought it was really funny because I saw that you had just posted how you guys are doing a series interviewing Olympians and how you were like, yeah, they're just so disciplined. And I was like, oh my gosh, he is so like, he loves that.
No, the Olympians are sorry. I mean, I have my own struggles. Olympians are to me are a whole nother level, right? So people that just what you're referring to that, they're talking about doing, practice in the heat. I couldn't see myself really pushing myself like that right now, running and hurling. But discipline is a key thing. And it's something that I feel like there's still a lot of room for improvement too, right? And I think that's around the always looking, what can you do to get better? And then even for you, right, when you think about what you're doing with Entry Point and these type of virtual conversations, right, there's a certain level of discipline that you have to be consistent in what you're doing. And, there's prep that you have to do, right? And I think in life, discipline is extremely important when we think about, reaching some of our big dreams and being able to set the goals and accomplish them and have the accountability around us to succeed.
Yeah, I think it is interesting. That is definitely like an entrepreneurial trait of like a lot of like the entrepreneurs that I know are just like very like pragmatic and like, although like they're completely like risk takers. So it's like risk taking in like this really like pragmatic way that I find to be really like I'm like an entrepreneur fangirl, even though now I like am a founder. So I'm like, I guess I'm like turned into one, but like
big time.
I'm always like analyzing you guys being like,
Yeah. I think it's for the point too that sometimes you're doing the journey by yourself, or you may have a couple people that are around you, but if you don't have any type of discipline, like it's very easy for it to, you forget about it and no one's looking over your shoulder to see if you're doing things. So that discipline really allows you to grow, whatever your endeavor is, whatever the business that you're growing is, that you have to have the discipline, the fortitude to keep going, because, it's not all rosy, right? Entrepreneurship is challenging in itself, where sometimes you're second guessing, like, am I doing the right thing?
Yeah.
And, right. But then
sometimes like,
no, but the thing is that I think some people sometimes forget that fact that a lot of entrepreneurs have that same type of thought process, right? It's like you won't find an entrepreneur that's just like, oh, I jumped into it and it was perfect, right? It just doesn't happen like that, right?
Yeah, I do think it's a lot of like you make a lot of plans and like actually like forcing yourself to like execute on those plans and like make a thing happen, which is a lot harder. I just read something, this is totally off topic, but I just read something the other day where they were saying that like people are pushing entrepreneurship now, like maybe you wrote this, I don't even watch you be like, yeah, that was me. But that people are pushing entrepreneurship now as like they used to push college degrees, and they thought that was like very like irresponsible socially to do, to like kind of be telling everyone they should start their own businesses and things like that. Just like back in the day, they were kind of like, just go to college and that's what you do. Just go to college. Like everyone should just do it. And then now everybody's kind of in like a ton of debt and is potentially not using their degrees and like things like that. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think the beauty about entrepreneurship is that you really put all the things that you've learned into some type of idea, right? So what that means is the fact that, we go to school, we learn about math, we learn about science, we learn about research, right? So when you think about entrepreneurship, like the budgeting, right? That's why the math is important, right? Yeah. The science is why the research is important, the hypothesis from the science, right? So like, if I do this, I'm expecting these metrics to turn in this certain direction. Mm-hmm. So what that all means is that I believe that entrepreneurship should be taught more within schools. And I believe that, and this is where Product Sincere originated, from that STEM education, and how like our life experiences continue to build upon the things that you're doing. Because as kids are in school, they need to be able to understand how business works, right? But business is the fundamental thing that's needed within the economy, where we as students, right, and life learners, is like, you have to understand how things are connected. And it wasn't until I started doing some entrepreneurial things that I understand, like, oh, like an invoice. Okay, so I pay this person. Like, everybody is getting paid in a way, and this is just a big old circle, and I need the marketer and I need the PR, and everything just connects, right? And I think that when you think about school, growing up in school, I didn't have that connection. Like, I took a couple, business economics courses, but it didn't really make sense about this is how the world functions. And that's what I really strive to do for my kids at an early age, to get them to understand, like, okay, that's why it's connected. That's why you do this, right? That's how the economy works.
Yeah, I do think it's like one of those things. I wish that, like I could go back to school after like having worked a few years. I just kind of like went straight through, because I think there's so many lessons you learn in like college or even like in high school that I feel like you don't totally understand the concepts until you actually have worked for a while. And then it's like, okay, that's like makes so much more sense. And now I wish I could remember everything that they told me about that.
Yeah. It's you live and you learn, right? Live and you learn.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you have, and you've touched on this a little bit, but you have such a great network. And I think like just the fact that you're in LA, but it does seem like to me from being over here, like almost like I see you just as much now as like ever. Like, what is your advice to someone who's starting out that is trying to build their network and connect with more people?
Yeah, so I think my advice is to get out and if you're doing get out to the networking events. I think now during COVID, it's a matter of, they have these virtual networking events, right? Mm-hmm. And we have these vast networks when we think about like our LinkedIn and our Facebook, and, social media is great, but it's all about how you use it, right? It's not about the likes and the followers, right? It's about what type of genuine relationships can you really drum up? And for those that are, starting out, or those that are looking to grow, it's really, showing up and finding ways that, as I meet you, and if I say, hey, I'm looking for help around marketing, right? Letting it be known what I'm looking for. And then you can possibly say, hey, Seun, this is someone I can connect you with. And I think one of the things I tell people is we all know them within our networks, right? But, don't be an opportunist, right? Be the one that also you can be the one to, add value to others, right? And it's not about just take. Right. And it's not about like, oh, okay, I got it. Let me go on to the next one. And there's a lot of people like that. And, if it works for them, it works for them. But I think, I'm all about.
It works for them. I'm always like, that person's so skeezy. And then there's like.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. We all know them. Right. But I think, and that's just, a value of mine of having genuine relationships. Right. I think when we really thought about My Dreambug Club, it's about bringing genuine people together, right? Because I wasn't, or we weren't really looking for people that were just like, oh, let me get in and see, what can I take, right? It's like people that are coming in, they're writing books. Someone else wants to know how to write a book. They're helping to connect them. People that are coming in that, they have this imposter syndrome and the group's like, oh, I feel the same way and this is how I overcame it. Or you are, worthy or great of whatever position you're in to be able to excel in. And I think that is what makes a better world. And that's what kind of also fosters and develops more entrepreneurs.
Oh, man, I got a tear in my eye.
Silly.
Yeah, I like that. And I think too, like those people, even though like building sincere relationships, I think is such so the key, because a lot of times you'll see like those people who might be like the heads of organizations and people like them because they're the heads of organizations. And as soon as they aren't, they all of a sudden realize that those relationships they've made are kind of like false.
Exactly. And that happens all the time. And I think it's just being mindful of it. Right. I think, even myself, right. Like leaving Michigan in the position, like there's people that are, they're attracted to you. They want you because whether they want a grant or they just want to be part of the program. And, and you have to be able to fish through on like which relationships are genuine and which one are just because of the position that you're in. And it happens. Right. And you just have to be mindful of it and recognize it, because, you can't be bummed when they disappear, or you can't latch on and say like, oh, I thought, no, it's just the way the world works.
Yeah. Man. Okay. So you also have such an entrepreneurial spirit. What advice do you have for people that might be thinking about starting their own company? What do you find most challenging, most rewarding?
Yeah, it's a great question. For us, we actually, we created this liftoff package for My Dreambug Club where we want to kind of have that niche of people that are, looking to start businesses, or they're newly entering in that endeavor. And it's around being able to get them a hone in on their idea, right? They have this great idea, and then you take them on, okay, from this idea, let's build this business model and what it looks like, and understanding your customers, understanding how you're going to really, make this sustainable, right? And then getting them to the process of marketing it, understanding what the numbers are, and then getting them that first sale, right? So when it comes to that's like a package that we believe that people have really expressed the need, like what do I do? What do I get started? And the metric is around like we help them to get that sale. Now, when it comes to the challenges around entrepreneurship is, it's a journey, and you have to, whether you're doing it as a side hustle or a side business, or you're all in, I think you have to properly plan for the financial component of it. Right. So like, what is it going to take to do your business? And also, if you're doing it full time, like you need, that leeway to support yourself, your family, your housing, whatever it may be. Like you need to plan properly. And then it's around being able to, we mentioned this, but you're going to be in a position of, it can be lonely at a lot of times, right? Because you're used to being in a business environment around people. That's why like during this COVID time, a lot of people are struggling, because it's like, they're used to that social aspect and getting out, and, everything is structured in their way because they just go into the company. But for entrepreneurship, you have to find what works for you, and you have to, have a target. So you're not kind of just working aimlessly, and to really talk to other people. Right. And I think that's another thing, right? As we build My Dreambug Club, it's around having that support in the community around you, because to be able to talk to another entrepreneur, or just to talk to someone about your journey, one, it puts you at peace. And then it also, it motivates you to do more, because what you're doing could be groundbreaking. It could be amazing. And it's just like, as you're chipping away, you're not there yet, but you need someone to kind of continuously saying like, Emily, keep going. Like, you got it, keep going. And then you need to understand what those quick wins are, right? Or those different milestones that you've created. Like, oh, Emily, like you started this entry point, and you've done this interviews live for 2 months straight, 3 months straight, like every month is really a win, right? And you need someone to really help you to recognize that, because there's work that's involved, right?
Yeah, definitely. That is, Doug Song, who founded a software company here, is like, one time I heard him say, and I probably have changed this quote in my head and watched him not even said it, but I always attribute it to him. So maybe he one time said that like, being a founder is like, it's like every day is either one of your 3 worst days or your 3 best days. And I like so find that to be true, because like you have like one good thing that happens in your company in a day, and it's just like, you're like like, we're taking over the earth.
Yeah.
And then like the next day, like one bad thing will happen. You'll be like, we're about to go out of business.
Yeah. I mean, it's a roller coaster. It really is a roller coaster. It's not for the faint at heart. I mean, as you know, that it's not for those that are, something happens and they just crash. Like, oh my gosh. Like you have to really believe in what you're doing. And for people, and this is just life, whether you're in entrepreneurship or you're working in a corporation or organization, it's like find ways that just make sure you're growing, right? Yeah. I mean, your entrepreneur journey may be at different points. You may not get into it, but personally, you should always have some type of personal growth and development and things that you're doing.
Yeah. I also think that like now that we're entering a recession, or have entered, it is like kind of nice in a way to like be working at a small company or running your own thing, because you kind of are the like master of your own destiny. And I know a lot of friends who work at large corporations that are kind of like, I don't really know like what's happening and like what the next thing, are we doing well? Am I about to get laid off? Like, I don't know. And so it's like, it's good, the good and the bad, I think.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, right? It's good and it's bad, right? Pros and cons, right? So I can name a bunch of pros and I can name a bunch of cons, but the good and the bad.
Yeah. So what's next for you?
What's next for us is we are really looking to grow our podcast. So if you listen to podcasts or you want to, My Dreambug Club is what you should search for. And that's all around being able to inspire and motivate people. And as you listen to it, you should be getting some gems out of it every single time. Because that right there, like when I talk about being able to, this whole social entrepreneurship that I've definitely been a part of, is being able to find, how do you put value into other people's lives, and finding ways that we can kind of engage and expose that message larger is definitely one of our goals. And then we want to be able to help more people in starting their business, right? I think that, to say that what I see as a success is like we've really, I have an idea, hey, My Dreambug Club, and then like they go through our liftoff package, and then before you know it, like they started their business, and then before you know it, their business is growing. And then I'm like, wow, like, I just imagine as you continue to plant those seeds all over the place, what that's going to do for the economy, and then also just for people that, a lot of people really go through life and it's just like, I want to do this. I want to start this. And they don't get the opportunity to do it. And I think that's a big loss in society. And just being able to really be a strong catalyst and getting them to do it is really what we're starting to double down on. So those are the two things that we have some heavy focus on. Yeah, that's cool. So people can go to Spotify and look for My Dreambug Club, and then follow and comment and like rate. And rate, right, on there. Yeah, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud. I mean, just Google My Dreambug Club podcast, and then just be able to take it for yourself and see how you like it and see what you're able to gain from it. But definitely subscribe, listen, and rate. And you've had a bunch of like really great people on, and you're doing the Olympic series right now, and I feel like it's just like always. Every time I see it, I'm like, oh, that's like such a cool person that he's talking to, and like such good content and everything. I've definitely listened to quite a few of them, and so highly recommend. Thank you very much. And Entry Point thumbs up. Oh, we got the two thumbs up from Entry Point. Like that should be a star. We gotta find a way to certify that. But like from what we were saying and what you kind of mentioned around entrepreneurship, I mean, really, actually, when I interview these wonderful guests and we have these conversations, it's a strong reminder about their journey, and it's also reinforces some things that personally I may know, but hearing them as well, it's also very inspiring and motivating. And I think that's that's what we're going for, because if I had that impact, I want that impact to be 2x and 3x to other people, to be able to say like, this is why I'm continuing in my journey. This is why. And that's what we're going for. So like all these pieces are really connecting to create that system to build success. Awesome. I love it. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being on. I love this conversation. I'm also going to have to forward it to my brother, who is like, you guys are very similar. Oh, Hope that's a good thing.
Yeah. You just like very pragmatic. Like a lot of things you said, I'm like, I'm gonna forward this to Robert.
No, connect us, right? I'm always looking for good people. So yeah, connect us. I'll be open.
Yeah, I just moved from LA, so you guys just ships in the night at each other.
So you can tell me where to go in LA. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely. Cool. Okay. Well, I will talk to you soon, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk.
Oh, thank you very much, and keep doing what you're doing. Love the work you're doing.
Yay. Perfect. Bye.
Bye.